Production support for the weekly special is provided by
Smithville Communications, serving southern Indiana with high-speed fibre gigabit internet for businesses, hospitals and homes. Smithville Fibre Gigabit Technology. Tap the power.
IU School of Public Health Bloomington, addressing public health needs by preventing disease, promoting health, and improving quality of life across the state and around the world through research, teaching, and community engagement.
IU Credit Union, now offering mobile access to IU Credit Union accounts, helping account holders check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills through their mobile devices. Available through the IU Credit Union apps for iPhone and Droid. The Al Cobine Recognition Endowment Fund, established by friends and family of Al Cobine to support jazz initiatives on WTIU and WFIU. And WTIU members, thank you.
Kids across Indiana delighted in the wonder of the season recently, and tonight we're exploring some of the magical memories of children from yesteryear. Run away to the circus tent and vaudeville stage in a new memory chain. Delight in the art of handmade dolls in our latest Midwest Made. Discover an Indiana artist who makes the most of the winter weather. And welcome the rebellious rockabilly sound of Nate Gibson. It is a night of nostalgia, so stay tuned and rediscover that inner child. Hello, I'm Daryl Neer and welcome to the weekly special. Many of us remember what it felt like to be a child and be amazed. And though it was almost a century ago, our latest memory chain features subjects that would still inspire awe.
In the early 20th century, much of the American Midwest was still rural and remote. Same faces, same places. But then, for a few days every summer, a magical encounter with all that lay beyond the horizon. Crowds would gather in early morning to see them arrive. The strangest of strangers who could absolutely amaze you just by standing there. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Gentry Brothers Circus. Nilgos, cassowaries, owdads. Where in the world did all of these animals come from? How did those acrobats ever learn to do that? Questions that back then obscured the deeper ones we can wonder about now, like what in the world ever led you to do this? And now that it's all over, what did you wind up doing with your life? But illusion is all they'll ever share with us. The date and location of this photograph, along with the answers to our questions, remain unknown. Look closely. There seems to be the tiniest smile. 90 years on, we're telling you the same thing we said to everyone who saw us back then. Just use your imagination, 'cause we will never let you know.
Remember, you can watch the entire Memory Chain series on our website under the Memory Chain tab. From amazing feats to simple joys, our next artist has made a living bringing the toys of the past to the children of today. For years, little girls have delightfully cared for their favorite doll. And for many of those sweet faces, their journey began right here in Indiana.
I didn't like dolls when I was a kid. I was the oldest of a family of 6, and playing with dolls was too much like what I had to do every day. But my parents were both artists, and I have loved art all my life. So my husband's sister started this doll thing. It was the beginning of the craze of dolls, and they were reproducing the old antiques. And my sister-in-law took them and she painted them differently, and she put real eyelashes in them, and it was beautiful. And then that caught my eye. It was the love of the doll that was pretty.
Together, they designed and sold doll molds to retailers. Until 1989, when Virginia started her own studio, sculpting and producing dolls direct to customers.
The most important thing to me is to do a face that is sweet and not sad. You can't do every doll smiling or laughing, but they can still be very pleasant and sweet. I have found out through the years that what we call a generic sculpt sells better than a character sculpt. I would look at pictures. They will give you the boost, the start, but then your own feeling can kick into it. And my best dolls are the ones where I have not tried to totally make it look like this picture.
Virginia designs and produces each Turner doll, from head to toe, on site at the factory next to her family farm, including the customized clothing.
Fabric, it will start the wheels turning, and we are known for our clothing. It's all handmade. The fabric will click with me, but I don't always see the design until I get it in here. Dolls are mannequins. What you dress the doll in will either make it or break it. And I have tried a few times buying commercially made dresses. They don't want it. They want the handmade Turner dresses. And we enjoy doing it, so yeah, that's fine with us.
Even as most toy companies moved their operations overseas, Virginia found new ways to remain sustainable and independent.
I said, porcelain is going to play out. So the vinyl was kicking in, everybody was loving vinyl. And the great thing about rotational molding is you don't have any seams from the mold. It's done to where it's smooth, but we invested in the oven, and then we had a mold maker over in Cincinnati that did the metal molds that we needed. So we put in our operation in 1991. In porcelain, I hand painted every single one of them. When it got to vinyl, there's a different aspect on it. The paint that you use to paint vinyl with, you purchase it from the automotive industry. We have what they call stencils. It's a metal mask that goes over the face, and we spray the lips, and we spray the cheeks. It's hand painted, but in a way it's not like with a brush where you do each stroke, because you can't with vinyl. It has to be sprayed on or it's globby looking. And as soon as it hits the vinyl, it's dry. So there's a lot of mechanics also in making dolls. Not only just the face itself, but also you have to think of the technical part of it. Is it going to be one that's going to go on a shoulder plate? Is it going to be one where the neck is attached to the head? Or is it going to be one where the neck is attached to the shoulder plate? Because there's a difference in the way the head rotates. You have to think of all that. Vinyl, you have to make way more of them. And once you get the work done to where you have the metal mold to make it, then it's very easy to make one after the other. Well, then the market became so large that we had 1,000 retail doll shops that we were selling to. They would be lining up to get into the booth to buy the dolls. So then we had to expand. We had to build more buildings, we had to add another oven, we had to hire more employees, and it was really fun. I loved it.
At its peak, Turner dolls shipped up to 6,000 dolls a year. Unfortunately, as collecting lost popularity, production slowed. Today, they make less than 100.
I am the only artist that is producing her dolls in the United States. I just can't see letting my dolls go into kits or anything else. I've got to protect the collectors. If a person is a doll collector, right away, they know who Virginia Turner is. And a lot of people, when I say I make dolls, they think that I'm just making dolls as a hobby. They don't know that I've done it as a living. I've been fortunate because I got to get in on the ground floor and take it all the way through. There's not too many artists that have lasted 33 years. Now, I've worked very hard in it, I will say that, but the work's just been a joy. And my employees have been like my family. I'll say to my husband quite often, well, it's going away, but you can't take away the memories. They were made with a lot of love and a lot of pride.
To see more examples of Virginia's beautiful dolls, visit her website, turnerdolls.com. From the delicacy of doll making to the fragility of ice, our next subject shines in the winter weather.
Having a flat chisel and a block of ice at midnight is just a really awesome feeling. I'm Stephen Cook, and I'm an ice sculptor. I went to culinary school several years ago and to become a chef, I thought. I realized soon that even though I enjoyed working with food, I would rather work with things and ideas. So then I started doing ice sculpture as a business. It's a transitive art, it's temporal. It's very exciting in one way because I get to do hundreds of different subjects a year, and I get to do them very quickly because ice is pretty easy to work with. The advantages of the carvability allow me to do a great number of subjects, and so I can train my mind as an artist. I can train my eye a lot faster than I would if I was working with marble or bronze, where it would take me 800 hours to do a single piece. It's also kind of elusive. You're always trying to get a nicer finish, a better result. So it's got its own independent spirit that needs to be harnessed, and I can't always do that. Because there is going to be an ugly stage, a stage where you can't see what you're doing and you're not sure it's quite there. You can learn to understand the ice, not just visually, but through sight and sound, listening to the ice. You're constantly learning from it. It's constantly teaching me new things about the medium and how light plays inside of it. My desire is that I never stop learning, because I think if I did, I would become stagnant as an artist, and then I might as well hang up the chainsaw at that point. Ice sculpting has taught me a lot of patience. You don't learn the same from success as you do from making mistakes. When something happens that the ice is affected adversely, something breaks or something, I don't panic now. I take it all in stride and I know exactly what to do. Feeling of carving ice is, I don't know, it's just pleasurable, I guess. I don't know the way to put it. It's enjoyable. It's solitude, I love that. Sometimes I think I really enjoy the process of how this chisel feels in my hand, and this piece that I'm working on is really looking better than I expected it to, and I'm excited about it. Art is never finished, it is only abandoned, and that is very true with ice sculpture. As ice melts, it often looks better. Some of the lines are softer, and so that quality of nature acting upon the ice will enhance the sculpture. As it's changing, that moment that you just lost is not coming back. There's something in us that just wants to sit there and stare at it. People like the idea that it's not going to last. There's some magical quality about that. What I want, the thing that I'm looking for, if I do an ice carving competition piece, I want somebody to come up and just say, wow. And that's all I'm looking for.
He is busy at work, but it's not too late to get a sculpture of your own. Learn more at indianaicestudio.com. Well, in years past, families would gather around the fire on a chilly night, and Annie Corrigan is back with an Earth Eats guaranteed to warm your home.
We're in Columbus, Indiana again, and we've been cooking over this fire all day, basically. We've got 2 ducks, it looks like, some apples in the back that are stuffed. We've got pumpkins that have been cooking since before I even got here, figs next to it. We've got a whole feast ready for us.
Well, this really shows what you can do in a fireplace. And even if you decide not to go all out like this, when you have your friends over, get a fire going, put some cheese right next to it. It gets it up to an ambient temperature where it's going to taste wonderful. and you can just kind of gather around a fire, and it brings you that kind of communal feeling.
Let's talk about the ducks, because that has obviously taken the longest so far. How long ago did you put these on the fire?
Well, these take about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the heat of the fire.
And you started them breast side down to start crisping the skin on the breast side first.
Right. Then I've turned them over, and we also have a drip pan down here. So every once in a while what I'll do is I'll take the duck and turn it and catch all those drippings. And that will be a really nice sauce that we can spoon over the sliced duck. We've got the figs in there, a little bit of red wine, a little bit of apple juice. We have the baked brie that we did right over the fire. You can see that kind of got a little smoky and burnt, which is fine. And we can dip that and serve that over biscuits or crackers or crusty bread. We've got some wonderful bread here that Gretchen made. She's an artist and she made a nice Christmas tree for us. We have the different gizzards and livers from the ducks here, some wild rice up in the corner. And then we also have done those garlic cloves.
Oh, I don't know if you can hear that steaming all the way over there.
But smell that.
Oh my gosh! Woo!
Okay, so we've just cut off the tops, put a little bit of oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of fresh herbs in there, put them on the slow side of the fire, and now you can just squeeze that out onto bread or squeeze it into our sauce and we'll have a wonderful flavor.
Let's talk about the different heat levels of the fire. So we see that the ducks are towards the front. They're not over the actual fire, but the apples seem to be over the fire itself.
Right, what we're doing with the apples is we're reducing that liquid. So they can be right over a heat like it would be on a stovetop. But so we want to cook down the apple juice and the lemon juice and concentrate those flavors, make sure that the apples get nice and tender and soft. We'll probably pull them off when we pull the ducks off. We'll pull those apples up front, let them sit there and keep warm. And we'll just make a day of eating around the fireplace today. Real Southern Indiana traditional Christmas.
You can learn more about real food and green living on the Earth Eats website. Print off recipes, read the latest in food news, and subscribe to our weekly podcast. It's all available at eartheats.org.
Food, friends, you can't forget the music. And just like other stories tonight, our next musician is bringing a new twist to an old sound.
I think what defines rockabilly music is probably a youth culture. It's got attitude, it's got feel, it's got swagger. I got a guitar when I was 18. The guitar is just an easy way to express yourself. I loved it, played in a punk band. It's my senior year in high school. I really detested country music because it was all that I heard. I went to college at Emerson College in Boston, and I started to have an affection for the music that I used to hear growing up. Got really into the music and the scene, and from there, every time I went to a rockabilly show, people invited me to hang out, and just became a scene that I became a part of very quickly and really enjoyed it. I fell into a country music and a rockabilly community from the get-go and embraced by it, and I embraced it. And those songs that I was learning about and meeting all of the performers who had written these songs became a big part of the songs that I wanted to continue to play and to continue the legacy for a lot of these performers who were not on radio anymore and whose, if you didn't have one of those really rare records, you just couldn't hear it anymore. I'm glad that people still enjoy it. I think there's something that's infectious about the music that's it's just a fun music. So anytime a music is fun, people are attracted to it. The traditional rockabilly music is very stripped down, simplistic, fun, rebellious, youthful, exuberant music. You sing about drinking and cars and women, and that's really the staples of the genre right there. You can start a rockabilly band in a couple of weeks, and it's simple enough. 3 chords and the truth is kind of the stereotype. I think we bring a lot to the table. I think when we're performing rock and roll. I think we're performing country music. I think we're performing blues music. I think we perform a lot of bluegrass and rockabilly. And generally, I'm trying to craft a show that's fun but diverse, that gets people to think but gets them to dance. And hopefully they dance a step, skip a beat. Above all, entertainment is the bottom line. But if I can get people to think about important things and to have fun while doing it, that's what we're trying to bring to the table.
And now, Nate Gibson.
1, 2, prairie wide. Hoofbeats, 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 ride, cowboy, ride. The hoofbeat of the herd of wild Mustangs on a big stampede. Or the hoofbeat of the famous outlaw band returning from their lawless deeds. The hoofbeats of the sheriff's horse and the posse in close pursuit. The thunder out across the plain when the sheriff hollers. Hoofbeats, 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 thunder across the prairie wide. Hoofbeats, 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 ride, cowboy, ride, guitar! The hoofbeats of the herd of wild Mustangs on a big stampede. Or the hoofbeat of the famous outlaw band returning from their lawless deeds. The hoofbeats of the sheriff's horse and his posse in close pursuit. The thunder out across the plains when the sheriff hollers. Hoofbeats, 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 thunder across the prairie wide. Hoofbeats, 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 ride, cowboy, ride.
To learn more about Nate or to get his latest tour schedule, visit his website, nathandgibson.com. And of course, don't forget to like us on Facebook to get the latest weekly special news. Well, that's all we have for tonight. Stay warm, stay safe, and thanks for tuning in. Once more, Nate Gibson. Production support for the weekly special is provided by
Smithville Communications, serving southern Indiana with high-speed fibre gigabit internet for businesses, hospitals and homes. Smithville Fibre Gigabit Technology. Tap the power.
IU School of Public Health Bloomington, addressing public health needs by preventing disease, promoting health, and improving quality of life across the state and around the world through research, teaching, and community engagement.
IU Credit Union, now offering mobile access to IU Credit Union accounts, helping account holders check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills through their mobile devices. Available through the IU Credit Union apps for iPhone and Droid. The Al Cobine Recognition Endowment Fund, established by friends and family of Al Cobine to support jazz initiatives on WTIU and WFIU. And WTIU members, thank you.